there's a certain element of the dispensational theory, which is modern day prophecy, that's really taken great liberties with prophecy. Now, you could say, well, maybe we did too. Maybe we did. Maybe we did. We can't nail down the starting point of the 457 of the 490 years. We can try, but we can't really nail it down with complete accuracy. And there's cases to be made with the other dates, but modern day prophecy has taken and put a pause button on the 69th week and moved it all the way to the end.
Right.
And maybe there's some truth to it, but you can't make a case by looking at these verses that we just read, because there's nothing in there that says it's going to pause and then start up like, 2200 years from now.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
That's what we grew up believing, and we took it as the gospel truth.
Yeah.
But a lot of it stretched way beyond the point of recognition based on if you just kind of try and read and understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember that verse. I mean, I know like they talk about Revelation, and I remember being taught all that. I just don't remember where, besides like the movies and like reading Revelation, the book,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. And I'm not even saying, I'm not speaking against if God has hit a lot of other things, because I believed it, and some of it I still think there's got to be some truth there somewhere. You just can't find it right here. That's all.
Yeah, no, I'd see that. I don't see that.
Especially where it talks about that week where the anointed one comes, he puts an end to the sacrifice and offering.
Yeah.
And that is clearly Jesus. So in the middle of the 7, it's like, why would he say in the middle of that particular 7, suddenly we're going to fast forward to 2000 years later? That's ridiculous. We're talking about 1 7-year period.
That's true. And I agree with both of you, but I want to say this one thing. Didn't both of you just say God repeats? He repeats it. So this 7 week might represent the tribulation, and there might be a first half and a second half. And I don't think this particular passage is talking about a tribulation. I think it's talking about exactly what you said it was talking about. But at the end of the day, he repeats it. So maybe the tribulation is likened unto this. I don't know.
I think there's probably some truth to what you're saying, Dee. I think Jesus, when he talks in Matthew 24 about the guy that sits in the temple declaring himself as God, like wink, wink, nod, nod, is talking about the Antichrist. But I want to say, if the Antichrist was alive and well in John's day, then you can imagine how alive it is today.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, and he's sitting in the temple. Well, what temple? He's sitting in God's people's temple, and they think they're worshiping him. And it could be 7 years. It could be that there's only 3.5 years, because I remember listening to somebody this week who said Revelation mentions 3.5 years. We've always thought it was 7. I still think there's truth to 7, but it does say 3.5 years, or it talks about the number of days in Revelation. But I just don't think that it's provable what we see right here as building the Tim LaHaye Left Behind series based on
Agreed.
this.
So was that based on this verse too? That because that's what I'm thinking of those. But this I feel like even when I read it like by myself, I saw that last verse of them talking about Jesus. I had nothing to do. I mean, I had no idea, and I didn't break down stuff like with years and stuff. But when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, he's the sacrifice. He puts an end to the sacrifice and offering.
Right,
About the tithing.
Yeah,
Right.
he definitely did that. We definitely did that. I just,
Yeah.
but here's another question, because it says, we talked about the Chow Zone, the 2300 days, mornings and evenings. And we wonder if, it's, again, it's referring to years. What is that? Like, do we have an understanding? I know it says it's sealed up until the end. What does that mean? I don't know if we have any understanding of that. And I don't think the angel, who sort of was almost like a tease, Daniel has his vision, and portions of it, he never knows what it means.
Yeah.
yeah,
And he probably never knew what this means, because he died. I think he died not long after this. So he never saw any hide nor hair of this.
as soon as he died, he understood, don't you think? Like,
Probably.
doesn't he take the blinders off when you get to heaven?
Mhm.
Like, my goodness.
Hope so.
I just think it's absolutely amazing that the exact date of the anointing of the Messiah is foretold. It's not even just, it's just, here's when he's coming. So they should have known exactly about what time period, just like Daniel knew. The
Right.
people of Jesus's day were still looking for the Messiah. Didn't that they know that he was coming around that time?
I think,
Based
Yeah.
on Daniel, they would have known that, don't you think?
they were looking for
Right.
him.
I mean, he wasn't who they expected, clearly. They expected somebody to free them from Rome,
Right,
And- set up a physical kingdom, but I mean, they were looking for him back then.
Yeah, they
Right.
were. And I think part of the reason they were is because of this.
Yeah,
Because they lived in Jerusalem. They could say, okay, when does the countdown? And hey, we're here.
Yeah.
Because I think the people, even when they saw John at one point, they were saying, hey, could John be the Messiah? Well, they were looking for him.
right.
Because I
John
don't
the
think
Baptist, you mean?
John didn't
Yeah.
declare himself the Messiah. He wouldn't have done that.
No,
Anyway,
that's weird, right?
it is really weird, but
When you said that it said sealed up till the end, wasn't there something in Revelation that they said is sealed up until the end?
Yeah, I think there
Yeah.
is.
I don't remember. I think
I have to look it up.
there's stuff at the very end of Daniel in chapter 12 where it makes mention of that things shall be sealed up at the end. But you're kind of sort of saying, oh, it says, go thy way, Daniel, for thy words are shut up and sealed till the time of the end. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Does that mean, and that's in Daniel 12, which, this is really, it's hard because this is not 100% understood. I think for years, people thought that what we discussed tonight, historically speaking, you could make a pretty strong case to place these 100 or 490 years in historical sequence.
Right.
Even if maybe they were shifted ahead a little bit or even back, that there was significance, but it probably wasn't 150 plus years ago that some of these other ideas came on and the pause scene appeared, and that's when some of the more modern ideas appeared.
Yeah. I think the people of the day knew this meant the Messiah. They were like, oh, Daniel's prophecy says he's coming around this time, so we should look for him. But they didn't recognize him because they thought he's somebody else.
The Pharisees wanted to find the Messiah. It didn't seem like they were interested in the Messiah. It seemed like they were interested in power and things that had to do with themselves, not with the Messiah. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. No, they didn't. I don't think they really wanted their little power structure to be, interrupted.
Interrupted. Yeah. That's crazy.
You know, the people that Jesus was the hardest on when during his ministry were the religious leaders of the day. What do you think he would say to our religious leaders today?
Right.
Just the same thing, the
He'd bury him, yeah.
yeah. It's really sad that, at almost 60 years old, I look at this stuff and think, why was I taught that my whole life? Why was I taught that? It doesn't even say that. Why do I out 60 years later?
I think it's
Pathetic.
just one of the many like foundational, there's a big foundation that's built on 9:24 through 27. But you have to take some of it out of context, and you see it's already hard to understand, but it's not the only thing that is used as foundation for that. But if we're just taking this by itself and trying to follow what we've kind of the way we've done it up to this point, it doesn't really hold water.
At all.
I think if you read like some of the older commentaries, they mostly look at it as history, like not as, like some of the commentaries, like there's so many of them, but the older ones, the 17, 18, 1900s are primarily, they just talk about just historically speaking, well, it could have been Ezra, it could have been Nehemiah, it could have been Cyrus. We're not sure, but there's no mention until you read some of the more modern commentaries, which refer to, the lefty behindy kind of date and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have, we're celebrating our anniversary next week, so
Oh,
it'll be a couple weeks until we,
Okay.
until we do 10. And I'm actually glad to kind of almost be done with this. This is hard.
It's a lot of work, but
Oh, I frankly, I find this very enlightening. It's so, it makes sense. Whereas the explanation I would hear in church about this was like, what?
I know.
What does that mean? This makes sense. He's going to get rid of the sacrifice and offering. Well, that's exactly what he did. And that has to be talking about him. It's not like because you think about an antichrist. This is what I used to think. If an antichrist came, first of all, there would have to still be, for this to be literal, there would have to be a temple. There would have to be a whole new Holy of Holies. There would have to be sacrifice if this antichrist is doing that. Again, like the temple's been destroyed since 70 AD. So there is a spiritual temple now. There is no physical temple. So there could be, a spiritual, translation to this, but this was just so for the people of Daniel's day to say, here's when the Messiah is coming. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to tell you, and those people of that day, because it was the distant future for Daniel.
Right.
It talks about this is the distant future. Well, it was 500 years for us in the future. I mean, we're all going to be dead.
Yeah.
Daniel would be dead within a couple years. But I
listen,
like this. I don't think this is.
He started with God loves you and has found favor with you. So then he's like, let me tell you everything that's going to happen. So this is, it falls right in line. Do you know what I mean? Wait, I just have to say, Willie, let me see.
Let me see your tooth. Let me see your mouth. Show us.
Get close. Get close to the camera.
There it is.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's your first one?
I
how
love
did
it.
it
Awesome.
come out, Will?
How'd it come out?
How did it come out, Will?
I turn it sideways.
Nice.
Oh,
It
Pull it
didn't
out?
hurt.
No.
It didn't hurt.
Yeah, hurt.
I heard
Good
the
job. I'm
tooth-
proud of you.
I heard the tooth fairy was very generous.
Yeah.
What are you gonna
wait a
get?
minute. I only got 50 cents for my teeth from the tooth fairy. How come you got
Right.
20 bucks?
I said, what kind of tooth fairy is that?
I know,
You
right?
drive up in a Rolls Royce or something?
fly up in a
Airplane
jet.
jet.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we'll see you guys Saturday then, right?
Yes, we
Okay,
will.
sounds
Is it-
good.
What time
Is
is it?
everybody going to the pool on Sunday?
Oh, yeah,
I am.
definitely.
Good. They tried to make
Hopefully.
me go out to dinner with them at work. I was like, I'm sorry, but I gotta go to the pool.
Yeah, you gotta go to the pool.
I
Do
need
you
some
have,
air.
you have passes, Dee? You want me to
Yeah.
leave one?
No, I have them. Thank you.
And by the way, was I talking to you, Gusty? I did get my book of passes. Did you get yours?
I just got the 5. Yeah,
I got 5 and then I think I ordered another 10 just in case.
okay.
I always get 10. And then I have 7 from last year.
Well, we got 5 from re-signing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Just good.
All right, I will see you
All right.
guys on Saturday.
Anniversary,
Oh,
guys.
I'll see you tomorrow.
And
What's-
Deb, maybe tomorrow, we'll see if it's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye,
Well,
everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Have a good
guys.
one.
Thanks,
I
Sarah.
will be.
I will.